Dr. Hawk here, and hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Star Citizen FM.
What the fuck is that?
Wait a minute. You guys are probably wondering what the hell happened to the original name. I thought this was called Citizen Radio. Well, let's go back in time a little bit. In fact, only about 24 hours or so.
Marty! You've got to come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
Not too long ago, I was contacted by a person on the internets that said, Dr. Hawk, you are using our name. We will sue you for millions of dollars if you do not take your name down. We will also then proceed to kill you. Well, no, that wasn't actually along those lines, but it was a request to take down the Citizen Radio name due to the fact that it is already in use and well established. So, from this point forward, this series will be known as Star Citizen FM.
Shazbot!
Don't be too upset. It still sounds fairly close to the original and is still Star Citizen related, so I don't think it's really going to impact us too much. So with that out of the way, I'd like to tell you guys what the main focus of today's episode will be. I did previously mention that I will be doing a FAQ of sorts, and actually after navigating the Star Citizen homepage, Roberts Space Industries, there actually is a FAQ already there, so it would be moot if I made another one, but I will sort of read it off for those as well as add, my own points and views just to help those who, maybe have not even read it yet. As well, Chris Roberts, there is a new update. Chris Roberts is in Austin. I will be going over that as potentially what it could mean. And in the meantime, let us start with the FAQ, as promised. For those of you that are already familiar with the game, this is your cue to nod off, sleep, nest, go eat something, shoot something, burn something, anything that might involve some sort of physical damage to something that isn't hopefully a loved one or related other. Okay, so some of you may be wondering, what is Star Citizen? What is Squadron 42? Why did I spend so much money on this, and why is my significant other declaring it as something related to porn? Well, you did buy porn, just space porn, not actual... Yeah, okay, subject for a different day. Star Citizen is a PC game in the works by Chris Roberts and the folks over at Cloud Imperium Games. It is a space sim. Hopefully some of you have figured that out. It is aiming to revitalize the space genre that, sadly, over the last few years has kind of waned. There has not been a significant show in space games or anything space related. I think the last cool space thing I tried was actually on the Xbox, and that was the space segment for Halo Reach. And that lasted like a short orgasm, and left me kind of upset after that. So, Star Citizen and Squadron 42 are aiming to revitalize that genre. At the same time, I'd also like to make a shout out to some other games. There are other ones that maybe were influenced by Star Citizen or have also been in the works, such as Elite Dangerous, as well as a few others that have already come out, such as FTL, which I suggest you to look up if you really like hard games and are a masochist. Back to the focus, however, what is the difference between Star Citizen and Squadron 42? Well, Star Citizen has been defined, at least from what I can understand, as the whole of the game. It will be the single player and multiplayer. It'll be the whole dining experience, as where Squadron 42 is more of the single player focus of the game. It'll be the campaign, the actual you will be put to service through sort of a military story, so to speak, apparently related to Wing Commander and sort. So you will be given missions and sorties and, do this, kill this guy. Well, hopefully it's not kill X of Y and fly here and deliver my mail, but, knowing Chris Roberts and those guys, it should be pretty awesome. As where Star Citizen, there is the multiplayer side. It has been described as a MMO, and there has been some confusion as to what that means, and I'd like to take this opportunity to kind of, with my own perspectives, explain this to people, and at the same time not, be speaking out of my ass, so to speak. So, what does it mean when they say Star Citizen Squadron 42 is going to be an MMO? I think some people might right away think of World of Warcraft. There will be thousands of people running around the main shop place of Star Citizen screaming, group please, need group, give me gold or credits, whatever. No, it will not be anything like that. If anything, from what I think, and then again, this is the part of the where you should say, okay, this is Dr. Hawk's word, not official word. I think it will be very closely related to Minecraft slash DayZ's sort of persistent online worlds. It won't be hundreds of thousands of players. You won't have 300,000 Hornets all duking it out to see who has the biggest EP with noobs spawning in, getting raffle stomped left. Yeah, that would be bad. That would be akin to a Mech Warrior MMO. Oh, wait a minute. That's already happened. Point aside, like I said, I think it'll be more DayZ slash Minecraft inspired. So maybe, 50, 100 players on a server. And given that space can be big and also is pretty much only limited by the creative and development direction of the game, there will be plenty of room for that amount of people to, comfortably coexist in a universe. So I don't know if there will be like a hive server, kind of like how DayZ operates. That way, depending on which server you're on, you usually still have all of your stuff, etc. So you never actually lose progress. Or if it will be more private hive related. So if you do switch servers, you'd lose your ship. I don't see that happening, given that some of us have already, pledged for ships like Constellations, 300 Eyes, Hornets. I don't think, that would be good business if you just switched a server and bam, you've lost your, shiny. That wouldn't be too good. So, Star Citizen as an MMO, you probably could expect along those kind of lines. Not massive as in hundreds of thousands, but relatively large servers with a good amount of people with a persistent world. So, with that being said, there's other things we can also move on to. Remember, I am reading from the fact page, so I'm pretty much just skimming it to give a general information, mostly about the important things like citizen cards. If you did pre-order, you will be getting citizen cards. They were supposed to come in by Christmas. But, this is real life, and it sucks, so we're probably going to have to wait for those. Basically, they will represent virtual status as well as real life status. You can show this off to your boss, your coworker, and we don't really know what kind of standing they will influence in the game yet. What kind of different ships will there be? There is going to be a lot. We already have a lot of them mentioned. I plan to do future episodes going over each ship, what I think they'll be good at, PvP, PvE. Can this one do this? Can this one do that? Can I put a mining laser on a 300? Gross. Let's not go there. That would be bad. How will modding work? There will be full mod support given to the players, and right away I already have to say high five to Chris Roberts and Cloud Imperium Games. Too many big companies nowadays just go no to the modding. I think this will be a good thing in the long run. We could see a lot of custom content as well as maybe, adaptations to the game. Like, again, I'm just referencing Minecraft. I play that too much. But it came out, and now you have things like Tech It, Feed the Beast that add industrial craft and red power and completely change the way you play it. But it's out there. You could also use the why can't I remember the name? Gmod for Half-Life, and well, not just even Half-Life. Gmod surrounds everything Source. It'll just add creativity to the game, and as well as extend the lifetime of the game, so to speak. Alright, continuing to go down the list here. it's can you upgrade to bigger ships beyond your pledge ships? That should be standard. You will be able to buy your own ships as well as insure them. I will get to that. I kind of did skim ahead of this advance, and actually I didn't even know some of these things. That shows I should read the FAQ. As mentioned, Star Citizen will be PC only. Can't be Xbox 360, PlayStation, etc. This does not speak about new consoles coming out, but knowing Chris Roberts, I don't see that happening. I am console friendly, computer friendly, I'm very impartial and non-biased to anything really, so if you hate consoles, and you're welcome to voice that to me, but everyone needs their own way to play and connect, right? So how that's not related. Star Citizen will not only be in English, it'll support many languages, and seeing the the forum, there's a lot of different people from different parts of the world, so I don't think you'll have to worry about listening to Dr. Hawk speak only in English when I have my official radio up and going in Star Citizen. Please, Chris Roberts? Oh no, I'll get to that later. Stretch goals, okay, free to play. Yeah, you will need to buy the initial game. After that, there will be no monthly charge, so no actual World of Warcraft style payment system. It does say there will be some in-game items available as microtransactions. Some people immediately might cringe at that idea because pay per play as well as microtransactions do have some bad rap, but I wouldn't be too worried about Chris and those guys. I don't think we'll be seeing buy Gauss rifle that does, over 9,000 damage and raffle stomps everything you see for, $20. That would just kill the game. Gameplay will feature gameplay similar to the original Wing Commander and Privateer with a more realistic physics system. So there will not be a click-to-kill interface. Like most modern MMOs, your success in combat is going to depend on as much as your skill with a space fighter as it will with your upgrades and your pocketbook. Again, that could be misconstrued. You think, okay, so if I buy the biggest, baddest ship, I will be the ultimate EP master slayer. Okay, well that doesn't sound too right, but you get where I'm going. I don't think it would be too much like that. I've already seen some things in the forum, like people, praising the Hornet to be the godsend of all ships, with its Death Star laser beam. I really don't think that would be what Chris Roberts and those guys envision for that kind of ship. Logical minds will see that as an interceptor, but later on when I do episodes of ships, I will try to compare them to real-life equivalents to what I think their capabilities will be, as well as, where they're applicable in either PvE or PvP. But to get back onto topic, yeah, I don't think it will be too imbalanced. So this will show that, like any other standard game, if you put some effort into it, as well as some time, you'd probably get very good at it. And if you've played flight games to begin with, you'll probably have a pretty good grasp of already what you need to do. And if you haven't, you gotta start somewhere. And hopefully later on, like I said before, I plan to have tutorial videos for people, how to thrust. Okay. Oh, okay, so this is another thing I came across that some people might find interesting. Pilots in Star Citizen well, maybe I should start first. What is insurance? Pilots in Star Citizen can purchase insurance policies for their ships right away. If anybody's ever played EVE, this is what I think of. Modifications and cargo. This ensures that your ship will be replaced and its modifications or cargo will be subsidized should you be destroyed in a fight or an accident. As in real life, insurance policies must be maintained. You must pay an arm and a leg in regular fee in galactic credits, the in-game currency, or your policy will lapse and you will not receive a payout or ship replacement. So, similar to EVE, this sounds exactly like that system. If you've never played EVE, I'll explain. If you started the game and bought a ship and did not insure it, bam, there goes your ship. You are SOL, do not pass go, do not collect $200, grab a rookie ship and have fun. Insurance was a basic way of covering a portion, if not all of your ship, depending how much insurance you put into it. Usually the higher end ships, you couldn't cover it all. If you purchased a really high tech tier 3, battle cruiser, you would not get the full, billions or whatever you spent on it back. But for basic ships, for example, you spend, 50 million on a cruiser, you could get your basic, what you put down on the ship, but you likely wouldn't get the weapons or whatever else you put into it. Right here it says you would get some of that back, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It goes on further to say, will this insurance cost a lot? Like in real life, insurance should be a relatively small part of your regular in-game expenses. They will also include landing fees, trade tariffs, if a system with lots of infrastructure and law and order, fuel, buying cargo, hiring helpmakers. So there will be ways to burn credits. Right away, that actually shows something about the economy. I might help. Some people don't like having to pay a lot of fees, but if you look at other MMOs and games, not having credit sinks in a game results in a very large inflated economy. I think one good example I remember playing was Mabinogi by Nexon, or I think they're with a different group now. But yeah, the economy really inflated bad. I remember there was one item people liked, it was like dye. Used to go around for like 5,000 gold, but over time, I think the last time I logged in was at 100,000 for like just a random one, no color specific. There weren't a lot of money sinks in that game, so people amounted these large piles of money that, just like in real life after World War II, money became pretty useless. You'd need a whole wheelbarrow full of paper money just to afford half a loaf of bread. So, insurance, getting back on topic, I think will be a good thing. It should be interesting to see it play out, as well as give, I don't know how they'll do it, maybe if they give newer players a bit of leeway or not, but it will help make sure that not everybody is flying around in spacesuits at the beginning. The insurance section does go on to explain a risk system. This is based on the idea that Risk 1 would, for example, be the safest systems and places to travel and wouldn't be too expensive, as where Risk 5 would be dangerous and uninsurable. So this seems for more people who would be running cargo. You're trying to run through a pirate-heavy section, that might be Risk 5. Well, duh, why are you going through there? You're gonna get ganked. We're not insuring that. We know it's gonna, those pirates are gonna spend it all on hookers and blow and rum. Well, Lara might spend it all on rum, knowing him. So, point aside, this seems to be a pretty in-depth system. It also explains, lifetime insurance. That will be for people who have pledged for ships. So, for example, that specific, you say you got a 300i or Hornet, you will have lifetime insurance prior to November 26, 2012. If you pledged after November 26, it will be from anywhere to 2 months to 12 months, depending on the ship and policy type. Lifetime insurances do not exist for modifications or cargo. So, there you go. What happens if I don't have insurance? Your character will have to buy a new ship with any credits he has. If he doesn't have enough credits to fly... or if he doesn't have enough credits, fly missions for a third party, both NPC and player, until he's earned enough to buy his own ship again. Okay, so that probably is relating to Squadron 42. I do remember, I think it was in one of Chris Roberts' interviews, he said that they would be interchangeable, so if you went through Squadron 42, got some cool ship and amassed a pile of credits, that would transfer over to multiplayer, and I think vice versa. I will need to be corrected on that. So you won't be completely SOL. That even might mean replaying missions. There might be some grindy, but if you did fly your ship into an asteroid or, got ganked because you decided you could tank pirates, that sort of is your fault. Will ships I add to my account have... Okay, that's more related to... Can I trade my... Oh, yes, okay, so you can trade lifetime insurance ships. And gift. You cannot carry over insurance to ships you earned in the finished game. Can I use my insurance as an excuse to simply ram other ships to death, knowing I will get my ship back? Yes, you can, but this will be a very bad idea as it is inconvenient and time-consuming getting your replacement ship ready to go again. Okay, so there will be a cooldown, so that right away says no griefing, or at least some sort of anti-griefing measures in place. There will be an increasing delay in replacing your ship every time you make a claim. Okay, so yeah, that would either be you're dying too much or you're griefing too much. Now you've got to wait like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 10 hours. I don't know. That could be off-putting for some, but knowing that not everybody's going to actively try to kill themselves, that probably would only affect those who are actively trying to grief, unless it ends up afflicting those who are getting griefed. In that case, that'll be for future issues, so to speak. Can I insure alien or one-off ships? No, the only exception is the limited number of Vandal fighters sold through the RSI site during the pledge campaign. Okay, so this is going into the Vandal, which I personally don't know much about. I don't think we actually know a lot about in general. I didn't pledge that much, and that's not so much out of I'm a cheapskate. I'm a cheapskate. I don't know much on the Vandal fighter, so I'll have to get on that. But it sounds like you will not be able to, insure any of those. They'll be kind of special and unique. And that goes into insurance fraud, but that's different. Back to the Vandal fighters, though. Yeah, treat those like, you would a Ferrari. You don't try to mess around and grief with that. That would probably be a bad thing. I did have more planned for the FAQ, but I've already looked at the time frame and I've kind of gone on for this. I'm starting to think maybe that I should extend the FAQs to other things, so other frequently asked questions that go on the forums, like people asking what kind of hardware do I need to, play Star Citizen. I'll have those later. I am going to try to get into some of the other stuff I had planned to talk about. So without further ado, let us speak about the news in Star Citizen. Alright, so the only thing that's come out recently is the news on the main site. Chris Roberts in Austin, press roundup. Chris Roberts is in Austin to meet with the CIG team, currently setting up shop there. Chris is normally based at headquarters in Los Angeles, but he'll be traveling back and forth to make sure everything is going correctly. He spent yesterday and today meeting with the programming and design teams to talk about the next steps for the game, and he'll be back next week alongside more of the Los Angeles team to officially kick off the next phase of development. The rest of the news is there. I will be posting the link for those interested in actually watching the YouTube video that accompanies it. What does this mean? Well, it means that they're kicking up shop and getting ready to go. Establishing office, all that just speaks that this development is going forth, and there's really not much to actually speak about unless you watch the video, check it out. There was also a nice little 3D paint over. If you want a desktop, you can plop that onto your computer. But as for news, Hawk is slightly behind right now, and I will try to have something more juicy next time. I could go over older news, but that would just, most of the community here is pretty up to date, and it would feel like beating a dead horse. But aside from that bit of news I don't have much more for this show. Later on, like I said, I plan to do ship reviews in the next episode. I might just pick a random ship, go over it, what I think it would be good at, or that might be something completely separate. In the meantime, this is Dr. Hawk. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. Speaking of pleasure, again, I'd like to make a shout out to Pleasure for supplying another shiny logo, this time, more compatible with Sony Vegas. Hopefully there's nobody there sharpening a knife at the mention of that. As well as Zane and I think it's Kronos who help with the YouTube channel. And again, a shout out to Kronos and a lot of you guys yesterday. Again, thanks for that help with that legal issue. That's what I mean before when I say email or try to get hold of me. Good job. You all earned gold stars and a happy cheer and maybe even a cake I don't know. I'll try to get one or all of the above. But yes, thank you, because with the legal eagles, that can cause a lot of problems for us, and it was good of you guys to help get my attention. So, good job on all of you guys. This is Dr. Hawk signing off. You guys take care and fly safe. And whoops, I'm gonna have to add one quick edit. There is also a new email up for starcitizenfm@gmail.com. That should be showing now. If you guys have questions, comments, complaints, or concerns, feel free to send them that way, or comment in the video below or in the forums.